Hi, friends. Welcome back to Stay Anchored Kids. Last time, we learned how Joseph went from prison to palace. God gave him wisdom to prepare Egypt for 7 years of famine. And now Joseph was helping save countless lives. Today, we're going to see something incredible happen. Remember the dreams Joseph had when he was a teenager?
Oh, yes.
The dreams that made his brothers so angry? Well, after many years, those dreams are finally about to come true. Now, just as God had said, the 7 years of plenty ended, and the famine began. Soon, people all across the region started running out of food. But Egypt had plenty because Joseph had prepared ahead of time. People from many countries traveled to Egypt to buy grain. And one day, Joseph's brothers arrived. Can you imagine that moment? The very brothers who had thrown him into a pit. The very brothers who had sold him into slavery. The very brothers who thought they would never see him again. There they were, standing right in front of him. And do you know what happened? They bowed down before him, just like Joseph's dreams had predicted years earlier. God's plan had been unfolding all along. Now Joseph recognized his brothers immediately, but they didn't recognize him. After all, many years had passed. Joseph was older now. He dressed like an Egyptian ruler. And the brothers never imagined Joseph could be standing before them. Now Joseph had an important decision to make. He could take revenge. He had the power. He had the authority. Nobody would stop him. But Joseph didn't rush to punish them. Instead, he began testing their hearts. He wanted to see if they had changed. Were they still selfish? Were they still jealous? Would they treat others the way they had treated him? Joseph asked them many questions. He learned about his father Jacob. He learned about his younger brother Benjamin. The whole time, Joseph was carefully watching them. Now here's today's big question. Why is forgiveness sometimes difficult? Because forgiveness becomes hardest when we've been deeply hurt. Joseph had every reason to be angry. His brothers had caused years of suffering. Yet Joseph wasn't focused on revenge. He was focused on what God was doing. That's one of the things that made Joseph so remarkable. He saw a bigger picture than his pain. Now, some people think forgiveness means pretending nothing bad happened. But that's not true. Joseph didn't ignore what his brothers had done. He remembered it clearly. But he also understood that God had been working through the situation. And that changed how he viewed everything. Now, here's an amazing apologetics thought for today. Many people ask, can God really bring good out of bad situations? Joseph's life is one of the clearest examples in the entire Bible that he can. God didn't cause Joseph's brothers to sin. Their actions were wrong. But God was so powerful that he used even their evil choices to save many lives during the famine. That's incredible. And it's a reminder that no situation is beyond God's ability to redeem. Before we finish today, remember this truth. God can accomplish his purposes even through situations that seem painful or unfair. Joseph's brothers thought they were ending his story, but God was just getting started. All right, friends, thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, we're going to see Joseph continue testing his brothers and discover whether they have truly changed since the day they sold him into slavery. Before you go, here's today's challenge. Think about this question or ask your parents or someone you trust. Have you ever seen something difficult eventually lead to something good? And let's finish with a quick prayer. God, thank you that you are powerful enough to bring good out of difficult situations. Help us trust you when life doesn't make sense and remind us that your plans are always bigger than what we can see. Amen. See you next time, friends.